Straw, Coal, and Bean. Welcome to today's Sweet Dream Stories. Today's story is Straw, Coal, and Bean. In a village, there lived a poor old woman who had gathered a handful of beans and was about to cook them. She lit a fire in the stove, and to make it burn faster, used a handful of straw to kindle it. When she poured the beans into the pot, she didn't notice that one bean had fallen to the ground, landing beside a piece of straw. Not long after, a burning coal jumped out of the stove and landed next to them. Then the straw spoke, "Dear friends, where do you come from?" The coal replied, "I was lucky enough to escape the fire. If I hadn't jumped out with all my might, I would have perished and been reduced to ashes." The bean said, "I also managed to escape. If that old woman had thrown me into the pot, I would have surely been cooked into a thick soup, just like my companions." "Was I not the luckiest of all?" asked the straw. "That old woman stuffed all my brothers into the fire, turning them into smoke. She grabbed 60 of them at once, and they all met their end. Luckily, I slipped through her fingers." "But what should we do now?" asked the coal. "I think," said the bean, "since we have all miraculously escaped, we should stick together as good friends. To avoid any further misfortune here, we should leave and seek a new place to live." The other two agreed that this was a good idea, and so they set off together. Before long, they came to a small stream. There was neither a bridge nor stepping stones, and they didn't know how to get across. The straw suddenly had an idea and said, "Let me lie across the stream, and you can walk over me as if I were a bridge." Saying this, the straw stretched itself from one side of the stream to the other. The coal, being rather impatient, boldly stepped onto the makeshift bridge. But when it reached the middle and heard the water rushing beneath, it got scared, hesitated, and stopped. At that moment, the straw caught fire, broke in half, and fell into the stream. The coal tumbled down after it, making a hissing sound as it hit the water, and was extinguished forever. The bean had remained cautiously on the bank and had watched everything unfold. Seeing this, it burst into uncontrollable laughter. It laughed and laughed until its belly split open. It might have perished as well, but fortunately, a tailor who was traveling in search of work happened to be sitting by the stream resting. He was kind-hearted and took out his needle and thread to sew the bean back together. The bean thanked the tailor gratefully, but since he had used black thread, the bean has had a black seam ever since.